Good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here tonight. And I have to tell you, I have some great news tonight. And I was going to wait till next year, but I decided to announce it tonight. And I'm going to announce it throughout the remainder of this week and on all of my shows, and including the wrestling and sports show tomorrow night, Sports Corner, with myself and Smokin' Jim Frazier. I am starting up my own media company called RW Media. So all my shows now will be running under RW Media, and it's also on my YouTube page. If you take a look at my YouTube page, you will see that at the end of my name it says RW Media, which means I am going to be going under RW Media coming up immediately this week. And one other thing, we have one more platform we're on now. We were on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and now we're on Twitter. So I just want to let everyone know that the great happy news, and that news is simple, and that is that I'm going under a media name of RW Media, and so that's coming up, and we're on one more platform, and we're on Twitter now. So we have 4 platforms that we're on. So there's no excuse not to watch The Way I See It. Okay, no excuse at all, none. You should watch it. It's a great program, and I got to tell you what, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I got 6 blasts here, and actually the blast beat out the Boneheads, believe it or not. So I mean, it was one of those things. But I will tell you, I do have some boneheaded moves as well. There always is in this world today, and you know how that goes. As far as the boneheaded moves, and it's there. It's like that every time, and it never fails when it comes to the boneheads out there. All right, it's great to be here. One other programming note: next Monday we will not be here at 7 o'clock. It'll be this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday, we will be on at 7 p.m., the same platforms, okay? But it'll be Sunday at 7 instead of Monday. I have a previous obligation and will not be able to do the show on Monday. So I will be Sunday, 7 p.m., so check it out right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and on Twitter, and on my YouTube page as well. Also, my YouTube channel. I need you to subscribe. The subscribers are getting better and better every time. All right. Tonight's Chinese wisdom, go with the flow, will make your transition ever so much easier. All right. And that's tonight's Chinese wisdom right here on The Way I See It. And if it's your first time watching The Way I See It, I welcome you aboard. And we have some of our normal listeners here, or followers here. What is the new channel for my show? My new, I still have my Facebook channel, or I still have my YouTube channel, and I'll be coming up with a new channel as well, coming up real soon. I'll tell you how that goes as well. And I want to thank Toby, who said he subscribed. The Way I See It, Sports Corner, tomorrow night at 8:30 with myself and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Before we get the show started, we have 2 great guests coming on tomorrow night. Leo Haggerty from Tampa. He's going to talk about the Bucks a little bit, and he's going to talk about this college football and the championship series. Also, Steve Baldessari he reports for the New England Patriots. We're going to hear from him in regards to the New England Patriots and what's going on with them as well. I always like to have some guys on from some of the other teams that we've played, and also they're friends of mine as well. I'm always out there on the national scene every time and time again here, doing some different podcasts with different guys. So it was great that Steve had me on when the Steelers played New England. I was in Sugar Creek, Ohio, and it was a super thing to do, but I'll have them both on tomorrow. All right. Let's get in our blast segment. I'm blasting Delta Airlines. Delta has this thing about that they want to discriminate against handicapped people. And what I'm talking about is they wouldn't let this handicapped man, get into his wheelchair coming off the airplane. Now, in case some of you haven't flown lately, you can put your wheelchair on the airplane. They have this little side compartment as soon as you walk in. The airlines now, they have these Bombardier airplanes or aircrafts, and what you can do is you can put your wheelchair there. Well, Delta wouldn't let this handicap, and you know what? I have a stickler for handicapped people because I am handicapped. Okay, and you know what? This is just another classic example of why I don't fly anymore because of this kind of stuff. But Delta, I'm blasting you tonight because you shouldn't have treated this handicapped gentleman like this. You should have let him get his wheelchair when he needed it. You should have helped him out. You didn't do either one of the two, and that's the way I see it tonight. Excuse me. All right, next. The people who assaulted the homeless guy downtown. You really ought to be ashamed of yourself. When you really had to stoop so low as to beat up a handicap or a homeless guy, and then you ended up firing BBs at him. You fired BBs and you really did a number on this guy downtown Pittsburgh. Shame on you. You shouldn't have never did this. Whoever the folks are that did this, you know what? I hope they catch you sooner than later because I've had enough and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. All right, I'm going to blast you right here till from here to next week and back, and that is the way I see it. Next, U.S. Steel. I've blasted U.S. Steel many times on this program, and I'm blasting them again and for the same reasons why. The reason I'm blasting U.S. Steel tonight is because U.S. Steel has decided that they're going to pollute the air in the Mon Valley, and they got a whole mess of fines. Yeah, they got these big fines for big amounts of money. And I want you to know something, everybody. U.S. Steel, excuse me, wow, Steel has their corporate headquarters here in Pittsburgh, okay? When was the last time that they built anything brand new here? They built all the brand new plants elsewhere in the United States, okay? So you remember that, and they have not put any money, that much money into their Braddock Works and their Clairton Works, which is why they keep receiving fines all the time for the many different times that they polluted the air in the Mon Valley, and it caused a big, huge thing where there was smoke everywhere, and they had to have an emergency thing and all this other stuff, and that is the way I see it tonight about useless. I call them useless steel because you know why they are useless. Next, the FedEx guy who decided to kidnap a 7-year-old girl. You know what? Shame on you. Why would you even? Why? Well, I'm not even going to ask why because you know what? What has this country come to when the FedEx guy, okay? I've had a rough time with FedEx over the last couple of weeks. And if you watched my last week's program, I had some big time problems with the FedEx guy. So what I'm saying to you is now FedEx, this guy, went out and kidnapped a 7-year-old girl, and that is the way I see it tonight. Next, the city of Pittsburgh. Wow. I got to tell you what, the city of Pittsburgh once again has egg on their face. Once again, they reached my blast segment. You want to know why? Because they're at it again. They are continually at it again. And this time, it's really bad. Okay? And I kept asking myself every time I went by the Art Institute building on the Boulevard of the Allies. And I kept saying to my wife, they were supposed to put the city offices in here. 5 years ago, they decided to put that or to buy that building from the Art Institute, who actually went out of business, okay? And what had happened was they not only went out of business, but they also sold the building to the city, and the city took it over, and they promised us, okay, that they were going to put, that building was going to be the city building, and they were going to move out of the city-county building because it's antiquated, okay? And the city offices, it was easier than spreading them out. All right, putting them all in one building because they have offices spread out. Housing is in one building, somebody else is in another building. All right, so they were going to do that. They were going to put all the administrative offices in there, move them out of the city-county building, and it was only going to be called the county building. Okay, that was the plan. Well, it turns out they had $4 million, and the reason I'm blasting them tonight is because they've dragged their feet literally to get that building started, and now all of a sudden they need $3 million more. You know what, city of Pittsburgh? Shame on you for this, because this is disgraceful, and you've wasted taxpayers' money, and you've wasted time, and you've lied. And that's sad, because you know what? That's terrible. And that is the way I see it tonight. And that's my blast segment for you tonight, brought to you by Robin Campbell Insurance. Call Robin today, 412-366-3399. That's 412-366-3399. He has all types of insurance. He is a dealer for Farmers Insurance, and he will get you the right insurance that you need, put you in the right direction. He's a great guy. He'll come right over to your house, and he'll even sit down with you and go over all the plans and everything he has. I really urge you that if you rent property, I urge you to go get renter's insurance, because I tell you what, do not believe anything in your lease that says that there is insurance on a building, even if you're with an agency. Okay, because the reason I say this, always have a backup when it comes to this, because you never know when a fire could happen and everything gets destroyed and handled. Not only will the Red Cross help you, but you also have your insurance. That is a security blanket for you in case there's a problem with your house and your ceiling falls in, you can't live there, your landlord refuses to do what he needs to do. That's why you get renter's insurance. And that tonight's the way I see it about that. Call Robin today, 412-366-3399. Our Bonehead segment is brought to you by DJ Fun. DJ Fun is a party DJ here in the Western Pennsylvania area. Give him a call today, 412-545-4317. Now, here's what DJ Fun has for you, okay? DJ Fun has for you an opportunity for you to book a gig for next year if you book now. Okay, the end of the year is coming up quickly, everybody. The holidays are here, okay? The end of the year is coming up quickly. No, I mean, like it's a hop, skip, and a jump before it happens. So don't get burned by calling other DJs who try to charge you $2,000 and they've only been DJing for 6 months, okay? Call DJ Fun today. He's been DJing a long time. He will set you right. Call him, 412-545-4317. Parties, weddings, special events. Call DJ Fun today. Our Bonehead segment, the Arby's manager in Hudson, Ohio, who fought with a customer over a return. Over a return. Can you believe this? I mean, it's terrible. He fought with this customer over a silly return. Now, first of all, I have a little bit of an issue with this because, you know, if you go to a fast food restaurant anymore, and I know a lot of you do, some of you don't, okay? I know there's a lot of health nuts out there these days, don't want to listen to that, okay? You go to a fast food restaurant these days, and the Arby's manager or somebody, or they don't make your food right, and you give it back to them, you try to take it back, and they give you the biggest hard time in the world, but they didn't do it right. So the boneheaded move here is, instead of the manager making it right for the customer, he goes in Hudson, Ohio. He decides to go ahead and argue with this person over a stupid refund. All right, another person who tried again, who tried again to get gone through TSA at the airport again. When are you people gonna stop? I mean, come on, when? Oh, jeez. When are you going to stop? I mean, come on. Come on. How many times do I have to do this on this program? Oh, my gosh. That's our boneheaded segment today. Not too many today. Fortunately, not too many at all. All right. My life story is quite interesting this week. Friday, I went to, took my mom and my wife. We went to Oglebay down in West Virginia. If you've ever been to Oglebay, it's not a bad little place. You know, they have cottages, they have cabins, they even have a pool in the summertime. In the wintertime, I believe, well, I don't think they have a ski resort anymore up there, but you can go up there and camp, and I tell you what, they put on one heck of a Christmas light show. So if you ever get a chance, get down to Wheeling, West Virginia to Oglebay, and I'm not going to promote them too much because you know how that goes. But anyway, I will tell you to go down there, take your family. It's a donation per car of anywhere from the lowest amount is $20. You can donate $30 if you want. All right, so it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Carload of people is only like $20, $20 donation, and that's great. You know, you go there, and I've been there. I was there last year for a wedding. I was not very impressed with their lodge. Okay, I expressed my displeasure for the way the lodge treated my wife and I. as far as being handicapped people there and things like that. They had us in a room that was 6 miles outside of the lobby, and I had to go down 6 hallways to get to 2 elevators to get to where I needed to be. And I thought that was pretty dumb as far as they go, because to make us do that. And I mean, their lodge is huge, but it's too much for a handicapped person to be doing all that. Okay, they should have rooms closer by, and they didn't. And so it was busy up there last year when we went up there in November for this wedding. And I was busy again for the lights show. We went up there to see the Christmas lights, and it was beautiful there. You know what's nice? You go to West Virginia, and those people down there, they treat you like nice people. They do. I have never had a problem with anybody at any restaurant, any store, anything down in West Virginia. They're as nice as they can be to everybody. But then you come here to Pennsylvania, and it's like everybody's angry. Everybody's mad. Everybody's just, really, angry, and so on and so forth. And, you can't talk to nobody. You can't sit down and say to somebody because, well, oh, I need to sit down with you and talk about something, and right away they drop the F-bomb, they drop the MF bomb, they drop every bomb there is to drop. They don't even want to talk civilized to you. And that's wrong. I mean, at least down in West Virginia, at least as many times as I've been down there between going down to the dog track years ago, and I've always been treated well. I've never been treated like a jerk. Now, I will tell you, I went in October. My wife and I, we were going to go to Atlantic City, but it was right in the middle of, hurricane season. We didn't feel like getting stuck in all that mess. So what we did was we just decided to take a nice little easy few days down to Wheeling, and we did. Now, that casino down there is another story. Okay, I don't know if they don't pay these people enough money. I don't know what goes on. I've seen some of the same people I saw since when I was there in 2011. And I went down there for the the Little River Band, and I went to the casino for a little while. And I just don't know what it is there. And I come to find out, the interesting thing is they're not making as much money as they used to make. I mean, my gosh, before Pennsylvania got casinos down there, man, you couldn't even park your car. You would have to park it 2 miles away and take a shuttle to get to the casino. Not anymore. It doesn't go that way. Okay? And the interesting thing is, if you go to Rivers, their casino is always busy. Okay, you go to the Meadow, you go down to the Hollywood Meadows, they're always busy. Okay, you go to Erie. I've been to Presque Isle at least 3 times, and I have not seen their lots not full. Okay, so what I'm saying is that there are certain casinos in certain places that are busier than others, and I know that the people in West Virginia don't have a lot of money, and then on top of all that, you have all these states like Pennsylvania and states that they had relied on for many years that are now have casinos, and they just don't go down there anymore. And I mean, I don't blame them. Why go down there when you have them here? But it was a change of pace for us. We had fed enough of our hard-earned money into the PA casinos. It was time, kind of like, how they say spread the wealth. Yeah, well, I was spreading the wealth around a little bit as well. Went to the Walmart down there. The Walmart's nice down there. You know why? It's in the Cabela Shopping Center. Very clean, nice people. Now, the cashier was a little bit of a nimwit. She kept putting one item in each bag. Why would you do that? Put one item in each bag. Put a pair of sweatpants in with food. I mean, who trains these people at Walmart to bag groceries? Somebody explain this to me. Okay, who does that? All right, because that's the only problem I've had at a Walmart is that. But this was strange because I've never had this situation. One item in each bag, and I bought a lot of stuff. Okay, I don't go to Walmart and buy 1 or 2 items. I go there and buy a bunch of stuff. You see what I mean? So what I'm saying is who trains these people how to bag groceries? Because I got to tell you, it was crazy. Then we ate at Cheddar's, which is a very good restaurant. It's an American style restaurant. They have ribs, shrimp, fish, chicken, steak. They have really good food there. And you go in there and they have this nice, big, huge fish tank. And the fish looks so beautiful, and they have these big goldfish in there. And then they have this little thing up on the ceiling that goes back and forth like this. It's like a fan kind of thing, and that's it's bamboo. It's actually quite nice. And I've never had bad service there. It was actually pretty decent there at Cheddar's. So we had an interesting day, and this was on Friday. And then on Thursday, I went to PCTV and did my tapings for Sports Corner, the TV edition with myself and Smoke and Jim Frazier. And the way I see it, and I had my one of my buddies on, Luther Dupree. It was great to have him on. He talked about Steel City Sports World, that it's more than just a sports program, which of course is the case. Check on Steel City Sports World's website. And the reason I tell you to do that is Luther and the guys with Steel City Sports World, they're involved in a nonprofit thing going on to help kids and to help, helping kids in the community is one of the things that need to be done around here as far as getting kids into things and helping them out and getting them in the right direction. Because as you can see, it's not happening right now. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who aren't doing it. And then I fought again some more this past week with FedEx. They couldn't pick up the package I had. Then they gave me a hard time about the label. Then they did this. I must have had 4 arguments with them on the phone this week, and I'm exhausted, and I have a series of headaches because of it. But if you ever have to deal with FedEx, please find somebody else to deal with, because if necessary. Because I got to tell you what, their customer service is horrible, and people are just it's just unreal. I blasted them last show, and so it's a crazy situation. Okay, let's get started with our key topics. And I advertised a topic this week that I want to talk about in my series on jobs and laziness and employers and the whole job market and the inflation and how it all works out. And in case you're not aware, I've been doing that for a while, okay? But here's an interesting scenario. Speaking of Friday night, we were on our way home from Wheeling, from the light show, decided to stop at the Brighton hot dog shop and get something to eat in Greentree on Noblestown Road, right in front of the Noble Manor bowling alley, okay? I love Brighton Hot Dog Shop. I have no complaints about any of their food. Their breakfast, their hot dogs are just out of sight. They have a chili cheese French fries. The only thing I'm a little frustrated about is they have chili and spaghetti, but what they did now, they turned it into a pasta, not a chili and spaghetti. And I got to tell you this: if you've ever had chili and spaghetti, it works real good if you use regular spaghetti. Okay, and I worked at a Steak and Shake where we had that. And it works better when you use regular spaghetti. But now, the Brighton Hot Dog Shop is using pasta noodles. And it just doesn't, it's not that great. All right, so if you're going to do that, do not. Okay? They also make homemade shakes and everything there as well at the Brighton Hot Dog Shop. Great place to go. Anyway, I look over across the street. The Burger King was closed. It was closed up. I mean, boarded up and everything. And here's something that brings me to my job thing, okay? Not only just about lazy people. There's employers out there that can't find help, okay? And I mentioned last week that the hotel industry, the bar, and restaurant industry are hurting the most. Those are the 2 industries that are hurting the most, okay? All right? And so I asked the lady I asked somebody, I made a couple phone calls. Come to find out, you ready for this? You want to know why they closed up? No help. They couldn't find help. Now, I was there, I'd say probably about 2-3 months ago. My wife and I stopped there to get breakfast. We were on our way to Cannon. I think we were on our way someplace, and we were in the area, and we decided to stop there and get something for breakfast or lunch or whatever. So we pulled in, seemed like it was fine, service was okay, it was just not some of the, that kind of thing, and so I found out that they didn't have any help. They had to close up. And it got so bad that there was one person working in the place, and that person got disgusted. Now, this leads to tonight's blast. And remember, I blasted this McDonald's owner who had overworked a bunch of young kids under the age of 18. You know, you're only supposed to work them so many hours. They're required to have a slip filled out, you know, like a work permit, like we used to do when I was little. You had to get a work permit. The school had to sign off on it. Your parents had to sign off on it. Well, it turns out, I think that McDonald's did that because they didn't have any help. Okay? And here's the interesting part here. All these fast food workers who go out here and complain and bitch that they want $15 an hour. It's now here. There's $15 an hour at some of these fast food places. Where are you? Why are they closing up? Because they can't find help. This guy had to work by himself at this Burger King. And he got so disgusted that listen to this, he got up and he left, okay? And people were actually the ones that had to wait at the drive-thru. He locked the place up and just walked out. They parked their car. He didn't even lock it. And they walked in and made their own food. And got free food. I mean, I know that's not funny, but it's hilarious about what happened. And this is because management or the owner didn't go out and find help. Okay? And I'm back to where I am again on the same situation. You know, it's like trying to climb a hill and you can't climb it. Okay? Nobody can find help, no matter how much they try to climb. And the businesses now can't get ahead of anything. And I got this to say to you. I got this to say to everybody here that's watching this program tonight. Especially some of you out there who cry and complain and bitch, Ralph, my business, the restaurant where I went to eat's closed up. And, Ralph, they closed their business day. You couldn't find employees. Ralph, you know why? Because nobody supports them anymore. Nobody came up and helped any of these businesses out during COVID. Not one. Okay? There were businesses, I even tried to help some of these businesses, but none of them would work with me. And I mean, I was willing to blast the governor. Which I did. Those of you who watch my show here the way I see it, how many times did I blast the governor? Many times. For his nonsense with COVID, which shouldn't have happened. Rachel Levine, how many times did I blast her? Numerous times. Okay? All you business owners out there and all you business people all folded your tents and went home. You didn't fight. I told you every business in Pennsylvania, no matter how small or how big it is, could have threw $10 in and went out and got yourself a high-priced lawyer like a Dick Thornburg type. Okay? Somebody with some clout in this state and somebody who could whip the governor's butt. But nobody did it. Al's Cafe in Bethel Park tried. And you want to know something now? Those of you in Greentree who live near Noblestown Road that enjoyed your Burger King, you don't have it now. And you want to know why you don't have it? Because nobody wants to work. Okay? Everybody wants cash in hand. Nobody wants to pay taxes. This is why our government now wants to go out and hire hundreds and thousands of these IRS agents to chase everybody down because they don't pay their taxes. Why? Because everybody sat out during COVID, did nothing, okay? And now you're still sitting there thinking you can do nothing when you can't because everything's run out and you have to go out and get a job and you won't. Because you know why? It's not under the table. It's not cash money. I don't want to be involved with this. I don't want to have to do a tax check. I know some people like this. They're psychos. Okay? Complete psychos. They have skills galore, but they don't want to go out and work. For their reasons or anyone else's reasons, that's fine. But you know what? And then I'll get these emails from all you people out there that think I'm a communist. Oh, you're taking away my freedom because you're telling me I have to go to work. I never said you had to go to work. I just said, you will not go to work, and you're making our inflation and our economy worse by not working. Business owners out there, you did it to yourself. You should have stood up and fought against the governor when you had the opportunity. All right? I know the one time they went to the state Supreme Court and they lost. But so what? Go to the federal Supreme Court. Go to some other Supreme Court. Okay? You did nothing. You made no stride or no effort. And now, and it's not only just your fault, it's everybody's fault. I was out there supporting these businesses. Yes, I was. I was out there eating and buying and doing stuff to try to help some of these businesses. I was the example for what I talk about. But where were you? That's what I want to know. Where were you at? Why were you hiding? Because the governor told you to hide. Well, guess what? The dictator's gone. And I said this on prior shows. I would have voted for Doug Mastriano if A, he wasn't affiliated with Trump, and B, he wasn't involved in January 6th. Why? Because he made a point during the election that no one looked at. No one, see, what's wrong with society today, most people, is nobody pays attention to anything. I pay attention to everything. And you want to know why I do that? Because I've been like this for many years. Even when I was in high school, kids used to make fun of me because I'd sit there and extensively read the newspaper. But at least I knew what was going on. And in case a lot of you are not aware, some of you probably weren't even born then, but back in the 80s, we had issues with nuclear war coming in the early 80s. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that I kept myself informed about everything, and I still do. And people think I'm crazy. There are some of you out there that are so entwined in Xbox and playing on your cell phone. And here's another interesting scenario here. You ever go out and drive and people don't know where they're going? And they just stop right in the middle of the road and look around and go, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All this technology. GPSs are at a low price. You get them installed in your car if you buy a car with a GPS. Most cars you buy now, they have a GPS in them. Okay? But see, here's the difference between you and me. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I was always taught to do things, have a plan A, a plan B, and even a plan C. Okay? And I do that in my life's work. And I do it because that's what I was taught to do. And it works. Okay? I have a Garmin GPS, but I don't use it. I use the one on my phone. Okay? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I got Metro, and I don't know if I can do that. Google has maps. You download the app. You punch it up, and it's a GPS system. And it tells you everywhere you need to go. I have a GPS. But I use the one on my phone. But get this. Get this. If I have a problem with my phone, the GPS works. Do you catch what I'm saying? I get where I need to go. And I know where I'm going most of the time, especially around Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and most of the area here. I pretty much have an idea where I'm going because I've been there. I drove a cab for 15 years. I've been there. But there's a lot of you out there that drive. And you have no idea where you're going. You have a GPS that you spend money on. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Some of you, mommy and daddy, spent the money on the GPS. Okay? And I'm not saying all you college kids are bad people. You're not. Some of you are good people. Some of you have the right attitude. But the majority of you, and I've worked with college students for the 35 years I was in customer service before I had to step away because of my health. Okay? All right? Most of you have no idea what society's all about, have no idea what the world's all about, because you'll never learn. I watched a millionaire once when I used to be involved in Amway. And you know what he said to me? He said, Ralph, he says, I never knew a college student who ever had common sense. And I went to college. And then his other brother, who's also a millionaire, said he never even went to college and became a millionaire because you know why? It's all about common sense. And common sense went out the window a long time ago. And stupid never takes a vacation. Just like today, somebody was walking across the parkway and got hit. Now that's dumb. Why would you do something like that and get killed? Do you catch what I'm saying? We've lost all sense of common sense anymore. And now Burger King on Noblestown Road is boarded up and closed. And the people who live around there that like to go to that Burger King, maybe they got done bowling and they want to stop and get a Whopper, okay? Can't do it anymore. Burger King and Wendy's make better breakfast than McDonald's, and at least you don't have to wait in a long line. Toby said, Ralph, please do some advertising around the city. We need you on the airwaves. I was in the truck for work this morning, and I asked my buddy to turn on music for God's sake. Yes, indeed. And I got something to say tonight. There's a gentleman out there, okay, who I asked many times to be on my show, on my Sports Corner show, to talk about Duquesne sports. Now, I know what you're saying. Ralph, you got Tad Morey. What do you need him? Well, you know what? I like to hear from other opinions from other people that are involved in that, okay? I've already heard from Dave Fletcher. I've already heard from, Chris Fletcher and Dave Finoli. And I've heard from Tad Morey. So now I want to hear what Zach Weiss has to say. And I've heard Zach Weiss on a national blog talk radio show called the 412 that used to be on Blog Talk Radio. Ever since then, I've tried to reach out to him. Never returned my phone calls. I try to reach out to him by email. Never return my email. And you know something, folks? This is the disrespect that I get in this town. And it's foolish and it's unacceptable to me. Because I'm a media person, like Toby says here, just like everybody else. Do you see what I'm saying? And I said this on Thursday when I taped The Way I See It, my TV show, the TV version on PCTV, Channel 21 Comcast 47 Verizon Cable, on a rotating basis there if you live in Allegheny County. Live outside Allegheny County, you can check it out on PCTV's Facebook page. And once in a while, sometimes I'll pop it up on my Facebook page for you to watch for your enjoyment. And I had Luther Dupree on. And we were talking about the local media, and you know what? It's still the same old boys gang. That's right, it's the boys gang. Okay? Fridays and Saturday nights, the nightly sports call has no one on. They used to have Paul Zeiss come on, I think, on a Friday or a Saturday. Okay? And they don't have anyone. Josh Taylor's by himself. Okay? But getting back to this Zach Weiss thing, he reports for Duquesne. All right? Duquesne University. And I was about their athletics. But I like to get a little difference of opinion sometimes, so I'll have different people come on and talk about it. Not one time did he return my email or my phone calls. Yeah, I called him out on my show, and I'm going to call him out again every time. Because if you think you're going to do that to me and disrespect me in this media, no, you're wrong. And I'm going to continue to move on with or without you. But I want the people to know that we have an old boys gang in this town for media, like Toby said. Okay? And let me tell you this. I had Jim Wexell on my show last month, on my TV version of Sports Corner, to promote his new book. You should go out and get it. It's a really good book. It's about the Steelers in the draft. All right? So Wex was on my program with me. And you know what he asked me what I listened to. And when I told him once in a blue moon, I'll tune into this guy, or I'll tune into that guy, or I'll listen to this. And everybody said to me, Ralph, your program is great. I wish somebody would pick you up. It's not going to happen here. I'm going to have to pay for my own airtime, but why should I do that? I got my studio right here. I got 2 studios here. I don't need to be there. Do you see what I'm saying? I do my own shows. And like Luther said, we don't need them. We don't need the corporates trying to tell us what to say. I say what I want on this program. It's my show. Okay? And if you don't like it because I'm insulting you, then that's too bad. Then don't disrespect me. And I won't call you out. But don't disrespect me like that. When someone emails me or somebody calls me, I return their phone call. Right away, somebody texts me and asks me a question. Okay? Like I'm working with somebody and we're getting another channel going. And that person decided to text me. I text them back. Right away. And because of my medication, I take a nap in the afternoon when I'm at home. Okay? I might not get back to you until I'm done with my nap. But in this town, you can't get anybody to return your phone call about being a guest on your show or an email. And you can't find phone numbers anymore to call anybody because everybody's hiding behind the email, and it's gotten so bad now, it's pathetic and unacceptable. You have a phone. What do you use it for? Oh, you use it to call somebody and be on the phone for 2 miles. You're walking down the street not paying any attention. You're driving your car. You're on the phone with somebody. And F this and MF that. And screw you. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to beat you up. Or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. You can do that with the cell phone, but you can't call me back. Is that where we're at now in society? Yes. So Zach Weiss, I don't need you. You don't want to give me the time of day. Then he goes on another program of the competition out here who's the worst, who thinks that this person who does his show on Sunday morning on 93.7 The Fan, who thinks he can talk wrestling better than me, he better wake up and take a look at this. Because it's not happening anymore. I'm the king of Pittsburgh wrestling talk. The guy that was the king, he's not doing it anymore. Okay? I'm doing it. Respect me for doing it. No, you want to try to compete with me. And you're nowhere near where it is because the corporate there where you work says you can't talk wrestling for no more than 5 minutes. I can talk wrestling as long as I want. And I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the petition drive. I appreciate the letter writing. I appreciate the phone calls to these stations. But I'm not part of the old boys gang. Okay? I've sent them shows. I've told them where to find my shows. But Friday and Saturday on the nightly sports call, there's Josh Taylor by himself. Why don't you call me up? Okay? How about the final word? Every week it's Tim Benz. Oh, and I got a beef with somebody, Dan Konjerski. Last night, just for what's in giggles, I call it, I decided to watch the final word. Most of the time it's late because of football. All right? But anyway, Dan Konjerski decides he's going to sit there and complain that the seats at the PPG Paints Arena are 2,000 to 3,000 seats short of the Penguins. Dan, what planet are you living on? Okay, we have issues all across the country right now with people who can't afford anything, and you want them to go to a Penguin game? But you have a lot of nerve, Dan, because you get in for free. And this is where I get mad at my media colleagues, if that's what you want to call them. Not a lot of them respect me. I have a few that I'm friends with that respect me and come on my show and talk, and you know what I'm saying? All right? And that think I'm better than any of them. And I am. But nobody looks at it that way because it's the old boys gang. And it's going to continue to be that way. And I got a big show tomorrow night on Sports Corner. National I got two national reporters coming on, one for the New England Patriots and one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we're going to talk about college too, and I'm going to get a national perspective about it. All right, lots to talk about again tomorrow, and I always have lots to talk about. Wednesday night at 7:30, talking wrestling. Don't forget to be here for that. I have some news for you about a wrestler, about a Hall of Famer that had a heart attack. But you'll have to wait till Wednesday for me to tell you. It's sad, but it's true. Okay? All right, that's the way I see it tonight. The Larry Rudolph story. Did you watch it on Dateline on Friday night? It was a special 2-hour edition. Those of you who don't know the Larry Rudolph story, he's the guy who used to be on TV all the time advertising Three Rivers Dental, saying, come see me, I'll put you to sleep. No sights, no sounds, no fears. That's sedation dentistry. I hear his businesses are still doing well, despite the fact that he's in the Denver jail, getting ready to be sentenced on federal charges for killing his wife in Africa. Apparently, she was a big game hunter. They always went hunting. They were part of these big organizations on big game hunting, like elk and just some of the big game stuff. Not the deer you see here in Pittsburgh. I'm talking about some big time stuff. Like I'm talking about zebras and things like that. You see big game hunting. Well, apparently his wife really enjoyed it, and supposedly he was struggling, I guess, with his businesses. And she had a couple $1 million life insurance policy, and he killed her. Now, when he said that he could take she took a full-fledged shotgun and put it to her head and killed her, or it went off or something. It went off wrong. Now, the ballistics people tested this weapon and found nothing of the kind. Now, number two, you can't possibly take the weapon at full scale, stick it to your head, and shoot yourself. And the reason I know this is because I had a tragedy like that in my family. My nephew, in my first wife's marriage, when I was married to my first wife, when she's up with the Lord now, and I don't know where he is. He could be with the Lord. He might be with the devil. I don't know. He killed himself. Okay? He had to take a gun. He bought the rifle, and he had to saw off the barrel and make it a sawed-off shotgun. And he did that. He stuck it to his head, and he actually shot himself. Okay? But he had to saw it with a hacksaw. Larry Rudolph's trying to say that his wife accidentally let that gun off, and it hit her in the head. There's no way that could happen because you can't pull the trigger and stick it in to you and be able to reach the trigger based on her body configuration. Okay? So now Larry Rudolph's in jail, or he's in prison, and they got all these videos going on about him talking to his mistress. Her name is Lori. Okay? And his family's in a big state of a mess. The son, the daughter, they don't want nothing to do with him. Okay? At this point. They're very disappointed in him. And then to try to lie like that really got Larry Rudolph in trouble. It was a good broadcast of Dateline. It was one of the better ones, and I've watched this before. This was on KDKA here. Megan Schiller did a thing on this. Okay? It's all across the country now about Larry Rudolph. All right? But Larry Rudolph, I should actually say he's one of my boneheaded people. Because you know what? He is. He had it all. He had a great wife. He had a great marriage. And nobody ever knows what happens in those cases. You have those things that go on all the time, and you never really know what happens. Just like now. They found that woman from Castle Shannon. They just found her today in the woods in Armstrong County. Her motorcycle was parked outside of the wooded area where she was found. They're blaming the boyfriend, and he killed himself. Okay? You just never know anymore what goes on with that stuff. And that's the way I see it tonight. Next, construction in December. You know, this is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. How can you justify doing construction in December? Years ago, I would never see one construction person anywhere. You wouldn't see a cone, you wouldn't see a barricade, you wouldn't see nothing. So I'm on my way to West Virginia, and there's construction going on. And then I had to wait in a whole bunch of construction to get through. And then I got these people, you know how you're coming straight down, and the left lane ends, but they're going to come all the way down and try to cut in front. A tractor trailer tried to do that, and he almost wrecked. And then I got tractor trailers on 70, which is one of the worst roads in the world, going in and out like this. Are you kidding me? This is what I mean when I talk about this every single week about people driving. But why are we doing construction work in the middle of this, in the early part of December? Why? Oh, it's a federal project, and we didn't get the money right away. Bull. Everybody got money from the Build Back America Fund. Everybody. I don't want to hear nothing about that. That's an excuse that I don't even want to hear about. Okay? And I used to make a joke. I used to say, well, construction companies and people who do roads in the wintertime, they're in Hawaii or Florida with their families, enjoying themselves. But no, instead, we're out in the cold in December doing construction work, and you're tying my butt up, and I can't get where I need to go. All right? I would love to sit back all winter long and collect unemployment and go back to work in the summertime or whatever. That would be beautiful. But for some people, nah, they don't want to do that. They love their summers. I do too. Can't have your cake and eat it too, everybody. I've said that many times too. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, the railroad strike. You know, this is an interesting scenario here. And it's interesting how the government got involved in this. But the government will not get involved in going after credit card companies for gouging people, going after banks, going after all these, the food people. If gas prices are going down, why is food still going up? Why does it cost hundreds of dollars to buy groceries? Why do they keep blaming COVID? Why do we keep blaming the supply chain problem? We don't do anything about that, but we're going to step in and involve the railroad strike because now it's going to create a problem with the supply chain, which we already have a problem. We still have a problem. Okay? I know now that you're trying to do damage control, federal government, because you know that this is going to cause even bigger problem. So you nip this little problem in the butt, but you won't nip the other bigger problems in the butt. Like, why do we continue to let our allies, our supposed allies in the Middle East, gouge us with gas prices? Well, we got to raise the gas prices because Saudi Arabia decided to cut back on production, and we got to raise our gas prices for the winter blend. Oh, we got to raise our gas. Every time you turn around, there's an excuse about raising gas prices, and food prices have gone up, and they still haven't gone down, and nothing else has happened because our government doesn't care. All right? So they do something like this for the railroad strike to look like they care, but they don't. They do not care. Because if they did, everything would be handled. So next year, my new theme is, don't care. Because nobody cares. I've said this a million times. Nobody cares. And it's worse now than it ever has been. This year's been nothing. And that's the truth. And you've seen the examples I've given you. And you've seen the stuff I've talked about here on this program. That's the way I see it about the railroad strike. Next, Dollar General stores working only with one employee. And that's how it happened at the Burger King. But these Dollar General got in trouble for that. Working with one employee. Okay? And I've said this many times to Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, places like that. Instead of having, you unload the truck, instead of having your employees stock the shelves, why don't you hire 2 guys to work overnight, pay them well? They unload the truck and stock the shelves. Make sure the floors are mopped before you open the store. They don't pay Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, these kind of places. They don't pay enough money for me to want to work there and stock shelves. Why do you think Aldi went to self-serve checkout? Because they were paying their cashiers well, but it was only part-time, and they had to stock shelves all day long. Have you ever gone to an Aldi? I used to go. I don't go anymore because I can't bag my own groceries. Okay? So what I'm saying is, when I go to Aldi, I would always have to wait in this long line because they never had enough cashiers. And some of them, they don't want to deal with people, so they'll stock shelves. I'd rather stock shelves. My mom's friend this past week turned down a job, and he's been in customer service like I have. He turned a job down working with people. He wants to work in the back room. And I don't blame him. Have you been out lately? No. Well, I know some of you have not. There's a lot of you that have not. You're either inside because of COVID, you're lazy, or you just stay home and play Xbox all day. You don't get out into society, breathe any kind of air. You don't go to the store. You have your groceries delivered. You have your beer delivered. You have your dope delivered. You have whatever delivered, okay? You don't go out. You don't do anything. Come live in my building here. People go in and out every 5 minutes, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. We have an actual award here called the King and Queen of In and Out. You get a trophy, go in and out, in and out, in and out. I go out, I see somebody on the elevator. Next thing you know, I see them going out. They go inside. 5 minutes later, they come back out. And they go back to the same store that they went to because they either forgot something or they just go in and out. In and out. But you won't leave your home. And if you would leave your home, you would see some of this. But you don't. Okay? City using their drones. Wow. The city a few weeks back had egg on their face. There was a report out that they bought these drones to use for the police to use. But our so-called Mayor Peduto didn't want them to be used. He was too busy talking to protesters. He was too busy letting them block the street up, letting them get away with what they wanted. He would sit there and talk to them. And I tell you what, you walk up on my porch and I tell you you're not supposed to be there, you're in jail. But not Mayor Peduto. No. Then he tells everybody, I'm going away. I'm going to live abroad. I won't be back for a while. Now he's working in town here and he's dressing up like Santa Claus. Okay? He didn't want the drones to be used. So they sat in storage for 5 years. And guess what? We need those drones right now to find these people because of all this killing that's going on. And they need to find these people and put them in jail. All right? But in the meantime, coming up here, we have all this crime and violence going on. Now, guess what? They're using them now. Why? Because they're embarrassed. The city of Pittsburgh is embarrassed now. So now they got to use the drones because it was reported that they weren't using them. Why? Because Bill Peduto wanted to sit at Cappy's bar in Shadyside and do his little thing instead of worrying about the city and the crime rate and the things he promised. And now he screwed the city up again and again and again. And he's still here. That's the way I see it tonight. Next, homeless shelter already filled up, the new one down on 2nd Avenue. I knew this was going to happen. Not enough space for the homeless. They got some of them off the street. Most of the camps have been told they have to clean up and get out by a certain time or they will be put in jail. All right. They're not after the good homeless. They're after the ones that set up all these tent camps all over the place, made our city look nasty. And then we had people in town for many events. They were like, "Oh, this city is ugh." You know what I'm saying? Well, now the homeless shelter's filled. The one down on Second Avenue, the Second Avenue Commons. Everything is a commons. It's the way I see it tonight. Now, I watched a jail board meeting today, and I didn't know I could do this, but I watched it. It was on YouTube. I have the county's website now, or the county's virtual stuff that they put I can watch. Well, I watched their board, the jail board meeting. Oh man, I got to tell you, some certain individual's name came up too many times. Okay, still stuff going on at the jail. No heat. Roaches in your food. We talked about this many times. And they're still not fixing it. Oh, we had to hire a new company to come in to do the heat because the one that we had didn't do it right. Well, maybe if you pay somebody and quit screwing people, all right? And quit, you know what, jail board? Quit dancing around the truth. Get rid of Orlando Harper now because the jail is out of control with this crap. And again, I know about people in jails. And I understand that these people that are in jail have committed a crime. Some of them are the scum of the earth, but there are some of them that might have been there for some dumb thing. They're not entirely scum, they just messed up. Okay? All right? But you don't feed them food with roaches in it. You don't keep them in places with no heat. You don't keep them locked up in solitary confinement for too long. There's a lot of stuff you don't do that's inhumane. You know, they do that in foreign countries. Let them go do that there. Not here. And then get this. They think Orlando Harper's doing a great job. What? When I watched that meeting, I was saddened. I was like, why is it that the same person's name keeps coming up? And then you either don't fire the guy or you don't fire the warden. Because if you cared about firing the warden, none of this would go on. None of it. It's the way I see it tonight. All right, let's get into some small topics here. All right, Judith Barilla, powerhouse person for disabilities. She was a representative for disabilities. She always went to rallies. She, went for laws for disabled people. Great person. Sad. She passed away this week. My condolences to her family. Anybody that sticks up for disabled, handicapped people like myself, I salute you. And I hope she's up with God right now, and it's going. And that's the way I see it tonight. Pittsburgh firefighters now have 31 new recruits. That's good. It's good to hear that the firefighters at least are people want to be a firefighter. Nobody wants to be a city cop. They have 2 classes coming up in the next year. All right, deer processing in the area running out of space. Oh, maybe that's why the city and the county won't do anything about the deer problem around here because they can't find nowhere to smoke the deer meat. All the processing places either A, can't find nobody, B, they're getting so overwhelmed that they're working 18, 20 hours a day, okay? And, they have no life, all right? Which, there's nothing wrong with that if you're making money, but you don't want to do that all the time. That's why these businesses are struggling, everyone, because you know why? 90 years in business. Donatelli in Bloomfield had to close up because Russ Donatelli's own family wouldn't even help him. His own family. Couldn't find people. 90 years. Had to close up. Burger King in Noblestown. Couldn't find nobody. Had to close up. Dollar General. Got people, one person working in the place. Family Dollar up in Garfield made national news. The employees and the manager walked out. And that's the new thing now. Just walk out of the place. Screw everybody. Who cares? Just walk out. That's what I'm saying. Nobody cares. And that's what my theme is for next year. Nobody cares. All right. Our final topic of the night. Braddock Free Store celebrates 10 years of service. You know what? That's great. Giselle Fetterman has that down there in Braddock. You know, her husband John is the new senator for for the federal government and all that. He just got voted in. He was Braddock's mayor. Well, his wife Giselle does something called the Free Store. It's been going on for 10 years now. You can go down there, get anything you want for free that they have there available. All right. All right, a few announcements tonight. Next week's The Way I See It will be on Sunday at 7. Sunday at 7, okay? That is this Sunday, the 11th. It'll be on at 7 p.m. All right, on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. We are now on Twitter. We're on 4 platforms. Plus, you can catch all my archive versions on YouTube and become a subscriber, please, to my YouTube page. I'd like to try, and I know it's not going to happen because I'm up to 54 right now. And probably after this show, I'll be up a few more, which is great. I'd like to reach 100 by the end of the year, which is not going to really happen. All right. But who knows? It could. Miracles have happened before. All right. And I appreciate everyone that has subscribed and watches the programs. Don't forget tomorrow night, 8:30, Sports Corner, myself, Smoking Jim Frazier. Lots to talk about. Pitt's quarterback Keaton Slovis hit the road in the transfer portal. But the good news is we're getting another quarterback. The bad news is our starting quarterback will not be available for the bowl game. And then we got to play a tough team like UCLA. So there we are. So we'll talk about that tomorrow night. Next Tuesday, I have Marty Leap coming on to talk about the Brian Reynolds situation with the Pirates. And then I have Jerry DePaula possibly coming on to talk about the Pitt football deal and the bowl game and the college football scenario, which we'll talk with Leo Haggerty tomorrow night on Sports Corner. Steelers win over the Atlanta Falcons. We'll talk about all that, and the high school games that went on. Westinghouse is going to state championship. They play Southern Columbia this Saturday and many more. Okay? Lots to talk about in sports tomorrow. All right, so watch Sports Corner, 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday night on all 4 platforms here. All right, and also don't forget about Wednesday night, 7:30, Talking Wrestling. Myself and Smoking Jim Frazier are the only local folks who do a sophisticated talk show about wrestling. We don't sit there and go, we don't kiss nobody's butt. We tell it like it is. Our opinions are great. Okay. Talking Wrestling. Wednesday night at 7:30. Right here on the same 4 platforms, along with Smoking Jim Frazier and myself. Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Also, Thursday night, 8 p.m., Blog Talk Radio, Wrestle Talk, myself. National broadcast of Wrestle Talk. We talk wrestling, a little bit of sports. Myself, Mark Mancini, and Smoking Jim Frazier, 347-205-9631. This Friday, 12 noon sharp, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, I will have my latest edition of Ralph Williams One-on-One. And my guest will be local drummer Kay Ballard. Okay, so he's doing some work with Kenny Blake, and he's going to tell you about some things he's done in the past, what he's up to now. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm also working on getting Darren Kelly on, either here on The Way I See It or on Ralph Williams One-on-One to talk about the Post-Gazette strike. So that's coming up as well. I have a phone call into him. We're going to find out what happens after that. Okay, so Saturday, 5 p.m., don't forget about Sports Corner. And don't forget about Saturday Sports Spectacular on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon. Check the listings. I know we're on steady at 5. Still See Sports World's on at 6 with Luther Dupree, Claudia Rosano, and Smoking Jim Frazier. But sometimes the boxing authorities and Platt's point of view gets switched around. Sometimes Platt starts at 4. He does a sports show on PCTV as well. Check out Platt's point of view. He's on Saturday as well. He's either on at 4 or on at 7, or the boxing authorities are on at 4 or on at 7. The boxing authorities is with Claudia Rosano, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Luther Dupree. They talk about boxing, and they have a numerous amount of episodes on PCTV. You might want to check that out as well. I am Ralph Williams. This has been The Way I See It, and I will talk to you this coming Sunday on the 11th. Remember, We changed it because I have prior obligations on Monday and I cannot do the show. So what we're doing is we will do the show on Sunday at 7 p.m. Until then, I am Ralph Williams. You have yourself a great night. Thanks for watching and be safe.